Mic check.
You are listening to a few bro dudes that will make you laugh, cry, or both. The Vanilla Gorilla and Dropkick Mike try to be funny, but let's be honest. They need to try harder.
All right. Got my boy Blais on the phone. What's going on?
Hey, what's up, man? How you doing?
Doing all right. So a lot of people may not know the actual, like the brand of Blais in general, but I'm going to start off right off the bat. Blais is the producer, engineer. He produces all the videos and stuff, everything for Bizzy Bone on his new album. Basically, it's fire. I mean, everything that you're doing right now and alongside with Bizzy, completely, like, if I had to say it, I have to say, like, genius.
We just hit the Billboard chart, so...
Number 21. That's crazy.
Yep. Man, I appreciate it.
Yeah, no worries, man. So tell me a little bit about yourself. Where are you out of? What do you do? What kind of projects you got going on right this second?
Yeah, man, I'm from the East Coast. You know, I was born in New York, raised in Virginia. I moved to Texas in about 2006, and that's when everything started becoming really serious with the music. Started working with playing skills a little bit. Started doing a lot of shows with Slim Thug, Baby Bash, Wale, a lot of people, Nicki Minaj. And then I got a chance to produce for Snow the Product a few years back. That song did pretty well. And then back at the end of 2017, me and Bizzy Bone, we did a song together called YNTG for my project. And we kind of clicked creatively. He loved the way that I mixed his vocals. He loved the way the song came out, the success of the song, and we just started talking about doing more music. And the next thing you know, now we're here with this album. We've been working on it for almost 2 years. And, man, we put everything into it, man. I've always been a huge Bone Thugs fan, so this was like a big... For me, I was like, I actually dropped everything that I had going on, even like the business I had going on, my music, because that's how much this meant to me. And I feel like both of us put our heart and our soul in this album, and now it's like the results are really showing off what we put into it. So that's where we're at right now. I'm currently talking to Do or Die Twister about producing for them. I just did something for Devin the Dude. But right now my main focus is this Bizzy album, and then I'm also working on my album as we speak also.
Okay, and what album is that? Tell me about it.
As far as my album, I'm still going for the name because I'm kind of just creating. A lot has changed in the past year. A lot has changed since September 12th when we released the album. So, it's just kind of letting it form and being what it's going to be. The last project I put out was called Ends by the Summer. And it was basically about, me. I created an e-commerce business, and it blew up faster than what I expected. And I knew that, okay, we're going to make $1 million by the summer. And that was kind of like the album. I was talking about it in a cool way, though. It wasn't like, talking about drop shipping and, this and that and Shopify. But it was more so just talking about the money and coming from the bottom and the struggle and making it to the top. So this one will kind of be like going to the top, coming back down to the bottom, and then on the way back to the top type vibe.
Yeah, so definitely on the rise. So we're going to play Another Level. Tell me the preface on that. Tell me like what it's all about, and we'll get right into it.
Okay. Another Level was one of those records that I created after my business started doing really well. And it was just, just talking about, going to the next level, but also the frustration almost. It's pretty flamboyant kind of, but it's also you hear the frustrations in certain lyrics, like they're sleeping on me. I like I'm posturepedic and blah blah blah. You know what I'm saying? Like a clever way of saying it where it's still flamboyant, but there's frustration and there's motivation, aggression behind these lyrics. So it's talking about also the people, who kind of did me wrong and things like that. But check it out, bro. I mean,
another level right now.
They've been talking down because we're going up. Hello. They don't wanna see young niggas blowing up. I can't even hear them when I'm up this high. I can't even hear them when I'm up this high. Another level, another level. I just sold my jewelry for another bezel. Another level, another level. Whole team winning, it's another level. Pull up, what you drop? Doors open up, all they smell is fly. They wanna see me starve and wanna count me out. All the niggas care about the numbers in the bank account. I've been on my job, I told my squad, we gon' catch them all like it's Pokemon. Money, 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 yeah, we gonna ball. Bored ass nigga can't get with it, then you hit the road. Poppin' tags, a lot of bags. Getting girl in my condo and she's all of that. I don't gotta ask to find a long amount of that. She gon' do it for the gram and I don't follow back. Hey, I've been winning, need 100 medals. Can't tell me nothing, I'm a fucking rebel. Getting higher than the fucking treble. It's another level. They've been talking down because we're going up. They don't wanna see young niggas blowing up. I can't even hear them when I'm up this high. I can't even hear them when I'm up this high. Another level, another level. I just sold my jewelry for another bezel. Another level, another level. Whole team winning, it's another level. Cash rules, everything around me. How you think they gonna do a thing without me? They said Blais chill, you gotta take it easy on them. But I feel posturepedic like these niggas sleeping on them. I've been on my job, I told my squad, if it ain't about the moolah, then we ain't involved. Money, 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 yeah, we gonna ball. I've been in the zone, I ain't even take no Adderall. I don't got the patience, this ain't the ear. This is a foreign, this ain't a Kia. I need my money, I need the real. Don't cross my niggas, cause they need a reason. Hey, I've been winning, need 100 medals. Can't tell me nothing, I'm a fucking rebel. Getting higher than the fucking treble. It's another level. They've been talking down because we're going up. They don't wanna see young niggas blowing up. I can't even hear them when I'm up this high. I can't even hear them when I'm up this high. Another level, another level. I just sold my jewelry for another bezel. Another level, another level. Whole team winning, it's another level. I don't got the patience, this ain't the ear. This is a foreign, this ain't a Kia. I need my money, I need the real. Don't cross my niggas, cause they need a reason. I don't got the patience, this ain't the ear. This is a foreign, this ain't a Kia. I need my money, I need the real. Don't cross my niggas, cause they need a reason.
Yeah, that was a fire, dude. I mean, I always ask any of the artists that are on any of my shows, like, what's the motivation? Where does it come from? Because you're on another level. You want to bring it up. You want to get bigger. You want to be successful. Tell me in your words what that means to you. When you look at your background in your life and like your stories in your personal life, I mean, do you have something that just continuously drives you all day long?
Bro, it's the music, period. It's like, coming up doing music, all I wanted to do was be heard. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, when my music translates to listeners who've been through the same thing as far as, trying to figure it out, like going through, like failing so many times where, a lot of people, they don't learn from where they failed at, but the ones that do, and the ones who can kind of pinpoint the things that went wrong and kind of move them out the way, they start and they kind of move with the moves that win, you know, and these are the ones that kind of come to the solution. And those are I'm talking to two different people, the ones who figured out the solution and the ones who are still trying to figure it out. You know, so that's my biggest thing right now, bro, is like, that's what drives me, is translating to people that I bring value to. You know what I'm saying? But my words, my experience is that bring value to people who are going through it or who have been through it.
On a personality level, who is Blais? I mean, if you take your last name out of the way, who is Blais? I mean, what kind of type of person are you, just in general? Because a lot of people are listening, and they to me, when we talk to a lot of different artists and we talk to a lot of different comedians and everything, everybody has a front. You know what I'm saying? Everybody has that front, and they want to portray themselves as one person, but nobody ever really knows who the hell they are in the background.
Right. Man, I would just say, man, I'm big on integrity. I'm big on say what you mean what you say. You know, it's not about the thing with me, the music comes out flamboyant. You know what I'm saying? Because it talks, but it's all real. You know, I'm not talking about anything that's not real, but I'm not gonna give you the good without the bad. You know what I'm saying? Talking about how I was homeless and how, you know, I made $1 million in a year off e-commerce. You know what I'm saying? Things like that, to where it's very transparent. And that's what I would say that describes me the best, is transparency. You know, I'm trustworthy. I'm a man of my word, to where if I say I'm going to do something, I'm going to follow up with it. And that goes from anything, to the people who support me, to the people who I work with. You know, they all know that they can count on me. I usually never say no. It's more like, let me figure it out. Let me get back to you on that. You know, so that's the type of person I am, man. Like, and the music, bro, the music is just expressing the experiences. You know, it's still, even though it's flamboyant here and there, it's not putting up like that, what you're talking about, that facade of a life that hasn't been lived. And I think that my listeners can kind of read that, you know, just like how they can read the fake shit with everybody else. Not everybody else, but majority of the people coming out, especially in hip hop.
Right. And clearly, after listening to that song, you're not mumble. You know, you're very articulate, and you know exactly what you want to say, and you put it out there. With all the new music that's coming out, I talked to Bizzy last week, and you know, we talked about the mumble stuff, and he says it's a lot of auto-tune, and I mean, there's a lot of things into it. And these young kids are, I mean, they're eating this shit up. They are like, they're going to lunch every single day on this stuff. But the artists that are actually articulate and they're able to like spread a message and bring it out, I mean, that to me is what hip hop is and what rap is, and that's what I listen to. You know what I mean? Right. You never heard, you know, Tupac or Biggie or, you know, Run DMC or anybody else, you know, mumbling over their words and trying to like just act like they're doing shit. You just don't.
Right. Man, but the times have changed, bro, to where, you know, with the internet, everything's fast. Everything's like, you know, what else you got? You know, and these kids, you know, that's how they're thinking. The respect level to adults has changed. You know, a lot of these kids think they know it all, and everything, it's like everything comes to them fast. You know, it's like going online, they can choose whatever they want. They have a selection. Music is coming in abundance. So I don't even know if they want to take the time to figure it out as far as listening to Wu-Tang and the complex words, it's like that's why they don't respect it. They can't appreciate what we once had. You know, going to the record store, having to wait this much time until Michael Jackson, 5 years or 4 years until he comes out with another album. You know, and nowadays you have to come out with an album within 6 months, a year, or you're claimed irrelevant because you haven't posted a pic on Instagram in a month. You know, so I feel like times have changed, bro, where things are coming fast, and then these kids, it's almost like, you know, like if you would have explained that to a kid, they're so disrespectful these days, they don't want to hear it. And the issue is, that's the problem with the present and the future of this generation is, one, even though they think they know it all and they have all this stuff coming to them so fast, they don't take advantage of the power that's at their fingertips. If they really took advantage of the knowledge that's at their fingertips, we would have people who are going to change the world. And there is like the needle in the haystack that will be that. You know, the ones who do understand how you can, and I'm not telling nobody not to go to school, but it's like, you want to be a lawyer? Okay, yeah, you can go to years of school, or I guarantee you can get on Google and YouTube, and in 3 months you would probably know as much as somebody who did 2 years if you cram that information and obsessed in it. You know, so I feel it's the same thing with hip-hop, though. They're going to take in what they want to take in. They're going to filter out what they don't want to take in. And I don't know if these parents, you know, I don't think the parents are kind of, but it's always been like that. You can, you know, think about when we were young, we had, you know, my mom is trying to put me on the Pearl Jam, and I'm like, I'm really trying to hear that, Ma. You know what I'm saying? Like, so it's just a rotation of things, bro. Now we sound like our parents and grandparents. What is this jibber jabber?
When you think about like let's just throw it out there, 3 top idols that you have out there, who would it be?
Michael Jackson, Prince, and Bone Thugs and Harmony. Those are my idols as far as what I grew up on.
That's done and done and done.
Then Prince, yep, and then Bone Thugs and Harmony at the age of like 12, 13 when I was introduced to hip hop.
Yeah,
before hip hop, because I'm mixed, so my mother's Italian and French, and my father passed. He was black, but he passed when I was 5 years old. So growing up, until I was like 11, 12, I was big on Michael Jackson, Elvis Presley, Buddy Holly, Richie Valens, Big Bopper, the whole 1950s era, that music, you know. And then I got into Bone Thugs, which introduced me to Eazy-E, Tupac, Biggie, and all that, you know. So yeah, bro. But those were the 3 that stood out to me that actually sparked my interest in music altogether.
Yeah, and I have a lot of young artists here in Colorado Springs. It's a saturation. You know what I mean? Everybody wants to be a rapper. Everybody wants to be in hip hop. You know, every venue that's around, of course, they're jumping into it, good or bad. I don't know. To me, it's just such a lack of knowledge of what's going on. And like what you're saying, Buddy Holly, and you're talking about Elvis. These are people that are not talked about in the hip hop world. And I've thrown it out there to a couple of the young artists that I've dealt with. There's a young man named T Suede. Phenomenal. And I told him, I said, you need, like right now, because there's like that 50-year difference where you can like sample old music without having to pay royalties and all that stuff. Like I told him, I said, you need to go back. You need to go back and like do some Doris Day stuff. Like, and he's like, who's Doris Day? I'm like, yeah. I mean, you got to take your time. I mean, Frank Sinatra, any of that kind of stuff, you got to like take your time and go back and listen to the actual music. And then if you want to sample something, sample it from there. You know what I mean? Because like if you said
not just sampling, but listening to artists like that could spark even an idea and melody. You know, the cadence of how the conviction that how they perform, how they express themselves. It doesn't even have to be taking and sampling the music. It could be something simple as that creates something new. You know, the vibrato and the classical feeling of Frank Sinatra's voice, the baritone
and the strings.
Yes, the strings, that orchestra feel behind your music that makes it that cinematic and the feeling of the music building, and that's the quality in music that missed these days. You know, you only hear, especially from hip hop, you only hear like Dr. Dre and Kanye will there, you know, but that's why the listeners, I want them to go hear that Bizzy Bone album, because that's the attention that I put into it. You will hear breakdowns, you will hear strings come in, you will hear just crazy things going on, man. From start to finish, if somebody listens to the album from start to finish, it feels like a movie.
When you're putting all the string stuff inside of music, where do you get that from? Like in your head? Where does it come from?
Yeah, I mean, everything comes from where, because I mean, nothing's new under the sun. So it's like it could come from an idea, like something I heard 20 years ago, and I'm not conscious of it as I'm doing it. But I will it's all on keyboard. I'm not playing the cello or the violin, but I remember the technique or how it's supposed to sound. Try to make it sound as realistic as possible. Whether it's the orchestra strings, whether it's a guitar, and you kind of have to play the keyboard in a strumming type of way, where you're kind of like one after each other, where it sounds like it's strumming. So different things like that. But I know that it all comes from something that you know, influenced me somewhere.
Yeah, there was a song from Puff Daddy that he put out. I mean, it was a long time ago, and of course, Puff Daddy he's got to be in every song that he produces.
In every video. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, he's the same way. I mean, he puts out like so much quality. It's not everybody's cup of tea, and that's fine. But
right,
you know, the quality and the words behind it. You know, he samples other people's songs. You know, he did it with Biggie. He you know, like he did it about Biggie. And you know, that's huge, because that's songs that you will never forget. Never. And why? Because it came from, you know, Phil Collins, or it came from Sting, or whatever, you know what I mean? It's all over the place. And
right.
But that's what I'm saying. I've been trying to push for a very long time to sample some of like the really kind of old stuff, the 40s, the 50s, where it is nothing but strings.
If you can, like, you know, if you can sample that stuff, what's dope is, you know, like you said, every 20 years, 30 years, you bring that music back around. There's so many people who've never heard it, so it sounds brand new to them. You take something that was, and it's really like, you know, it works, because it's more than just the artist, but it's like, okay, this music triggered something in the listener for them to go crazy about it. These chords in this song, it pulls on the heartstrings. So it's like you bringing it to the new is going to do the same thing, but now you can do it your way, you know, to your audience.
I was driving in my Mustang the other day, and I have my 17-year-old son with me, and I had a mix of Whitney Houston, I Want to Dance with Somebody, and it was a crazy-ass mix. It went into a bunch of other stuff, but like he was digging it. Why? He never heard of it. He didn't know it was from, you know, the late 80s, early 90s. He had no clue.
Right.
And he was digging it. And like now, like the kids got the shit on Bluetooth in my entire house. And all of a sudden I'm hearing Whitney Houston every fucking morning, you know?
Right.
And so, I mean, it's educating. And it's the same thing with Michael Jackson. And like, I mean, all of these like serious people, your music compared to like something in the 90s or in the 80s, obviously it's going to be a lot different. It's going to be a lot different,
Right.
but it's the only difference is your message, because
Right.
back then they had their message. And
Right.
when you take all this stuff with the mumble rap and stuff, there's no message there. I mean, and I know like Bizzy was trying to be very humble and he was trying to be really nice. He wasn't going to talk shit about anybody. That's the joy of doing what I do, because I can talk shit about anybody. I don't care.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? What are you going to do? Not listen to me? Sorry. I don't give a shit. So, but you know, that's the generation that we're living in, and these kids need to find the good music. And that's why I said, like, you know, possibly sampling something later on. But
Yeah.
I mean, with that said, let's jump into your other song here. Let me pull it up.
Yes, sir. Yep. YNTG, the one that first song that me and Bizzy worked on, and this is kind of what really sparked our relationship. And also this track was I had this song for years, because I was submitting records to Crazy Bone at one time, and this track was actually my plan. I had planned to submit it for like when they were working on the album. I was like, I was gonna change the words, because you'll see YNTG stands for Young Niggas Trying to Get It. So it would have been something different, but the idea of it was planned for Bone. So when you hear it, even my part, it almost sounds like Crazy Bone a little bit, but I look at it as not only was it a demo, but it's also my way of paying homage to the group that I looked up to.
It ain't easy when you want it all. No, it ain't easy when you want it all. We don't believe in ever falling off. We ain't ever falling off. We just young niggas trying to get it. Young niggas trying to get it. Can we live? We just young niggas trying to get it. Young niggas trying to get it. Can we live? I remember when nobody showed us love. I remember when things got tough. I could see my mama through the struggle. We ain't making enough money, so it made a young nigga grow up. Steady running up one time. Wanna show all of my niggas what it is one time. Get them out of trap, never going back. Never sell a crack again. I show them what happened when a nigga really grind. Stay loyal, stay down when these other motherfuckers gave up. When they stole digging bitches who ain't never gave a fuck. When it started to come around, when a nigga came up, now got a handful of friends that are gambling the last, just to put a nigga bail right up. All my niggas fuck up with me, so I get my left kidney for my right hand man for sure. We on this one team, one dream shit. This tight circle, we keep it 100. It's for the non-believers that left you, the ones that never repped you, oh no. Middle fingers to them all. It ain't easy when you want it all. No, it ain't easy when you want it all. We don't believe in ever falling off. We ain't ever falling off. We just young niggas trying to get it. Young niggas trying to get it. Can we live? We just young niggas trying to get it. Young niggas trying to get it. Can we live?
If my money together, keep it ghetto with every purchase. Motherfuckers only come around when they want shit. People are funny, that's if you running with a punk bitch. Some of them worthless, but prison ain't worth it. Get up, can't get no paper if you really ain't working. When I get drunk, I'm not swerving, and I'm not perfect. I'm only in the Uber, got a sub for the bourbon. Young nigga of the clique. I've been a father as a kid, so I never had a chance for the young shit. Make $1 million off interest. Step away from the band, no time for the dumb shit. But they still my kindred. Every stadium we sell out, I fell out before the snakes come around. I let a nigga get the hell out. Ain't no time for the bum shit. I'm living in life without the struggle and strife. Been in the game for a while, never gave a nigga. Well, I wanted it all to have a ball, but the wife haven't even hit the tip of the iceberg. And life so precise on the dice, I'm nice. I hit it twice, if it's right, hit it thrice. The price, no device. Word to the wise, look at everybody's eyes. See the pain that remains, not a thing never dies.
It ain't easy when you want it all. No, it ain't easy when you want it all. We don't believe in ever falling off. We ain't never falling off. We just young niggas tryna get it. Young niggas tryna get it. Can we live? We just young niggas tryna get it. Young niggas tryna get it. Can we live? Never let them take you down, you down. Never let them take you down. Never let them take you down, you down. Never let them take you down. Never let them take you down, you down. Never let them take you down. Never let them take you down, you down. Never let them take you down. It ain't easy when you down it all. It ain't easy when you take it all. We don't believe in never falling off. Never let me never falling off.
Love it, dude.
Thank you.
Yeah. Oh man. So what is your next project coming up? Do you have an album coming out, or are you just kind of basing your stuff off of producing and engineering and everything?
No, I it's kind of like where I'm at right now. I have to get a project out really soon with all the traffic and the love that we've been getting off the Bizzy album. A lot of people are expecting something from me. So man, I'm my worst critic. So it's like I have like over 200 projects just sitting. So I lately, because I've been really motivated after this album, man. Because like I said, my music, it's got to come from the heart. You know what I'm saying? So I create off of how I'm feeling. And you know, when I'm depressed, you know, I got those records, but I keep those for when I can feel good about it and release it, I'll release it. But, you know, I'm feeling really good right now. So it's like I want to get all these emotions out, all these good feelings on record, and at least get an EP out. So it's just finishing records and putting them together. But I'm almost there. I'm thinking within the next 3 months.
We're definitely excited. I mean, that's for one thing for sure. So tell me about all your social media, all your outlets that we can get a hold of you and watch you online.
Okay, for sure. Instagram is Blais, Blais. YouTube is youtube.com/Team Blais, Blais. Facebook is facebook.com Who is Blais, Blais. And my website is whoisblais.com, where you can go and actually reach all of those platforms from there. But the main thing is just remember BLAIS, and it's easy to find. Well, it's not easy to find, but if you can remember how to spell it, it should be easier.
Right. Well, you got one of the best last names that you could possibly have. That's for sure. So
yeah, it's Canadian French.
Oh, is it really?
Crazy. Yeah. I was actually just on Facebook, and I don't know what team it is, but they just won the hockey team. They just won the cup, and the guy's holding it up, and the back of his jersey is Blais, spelled exactly like my last name. Sammy Blais or something like that. But it's one of the NHL teams. But yeah, it's
All right.
Canadian French.
Well, let's talk a little bit about sports if you got a little bit more time. So, who's your football team?
See, bro, I'm about to tell you I'm the worst at talking to about sports because I don't watch TV. I don't follow sports at all.
But you got to be a fan.
No, how can I be if I don't know what's going on? Me being born in New York, I was always a Yankees, Giants fan, but only because I was born there. I still never followed them. You know what I'm saying? I'm a big Michael Jordan fan, but bro, I don't follow sports at all right now. Like,
okay,
it's been a minute.
All right, so let's take sports away. I'm a Dallas fan. I'm a Dallas Cowboys fan. We lost today. It was not happy. Like it was really bad for me. I had to take pictures with a damn Green Bay Packers jersey.
Oh my God, that was a bet.
Yeah.
Oh shit.
Not happy about that shit.
I lived in Dallas and Arlington, where they actually built the new stadium.
Yeah.
I was there for 6 years. I love Texas, man. Yeah, they're the most. It's crazy. They're so passionate about their team, but then it's like people in general, like Dallas is just America's team. You know, like they love Dallas Cowboys.
Try living in Colorado Springs. So, shit. We got Broncos shit everywhere, and if you ever get a chance to come in the actual studio, I've got like coasters all around the table. They're all Cowboys except for one because my co-host, that's not here tonight, he's a Broncos fan. We separate shit. I've got 2 helmets on the wall.
Like, is it because the Broncos suck, or is it like what made you go for Cowboys?
Because I'm from Texas. I'm from Amarillo.
Oh, okay. Well, that makes sense.
Yeah. So, I mean, you got to go for your team, right? And or where you're from. Either way. Hopefully, we can get you in here one day. That'd be a lot of fun. I do appreciate you coming in and coming on the phone and just hanging out.
I just wanted to say thank you to the Double Barrel Brothers. Thank you for having me. Thank you, Drew. And man, y'all be blessed. And whoever's listening in, thank you too.